Hi, you're listening to Phil DeBella, and this is FlashCast by PDB. Today I want to talk about diversity. So diversity and inclusion is what I want to emphasize on. I get asked about it a lot, and I've held off for no particular reason. And just so I started doing a little bit more reading and researching and asked a lot of my peers what they think about diversity and inclusion. And the consensus is that people get caught up and don't really understand what diversity is, and understand that in basic means to an owner of an organization or a manager, that diversity is the representation of different people in an organization. It's that simple, right? Diversity is the representation of different people in an organization, whilst inclusion is making sure that everyone has an equal opportunity. And it's a great way to just demystify it off from the start. So diversity, it's the representation of different people within an organization. And inclusion is ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity. And I understand that everyone has a different view, and I always respect people's views. Doesn't mean I always agree, but I certainly do respect, and they have the right to do that. And I like to talk in black and white, and the black and the white of it, which is so that there's no grey, is that diversity is the representation of different people in an organisation. Therefore, an organisation that believes in diversity, right, is represented by different people in an organisation. Now, different people can be different ages, different culture, different looks, different sex. It's not just about male versus female. It's not about old versus young. It's not about black versus white. To me, diversity is the representation of different people in an organisation, right? And that inclusion is ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity. Now, what really stands out for me is at the moment I, as a business leader, and I've started many businesses, sold many businesses, and started the Coffee Commune now, which is becoming a big business, I never, ever, ever hire based on somebody's age, on their sex, or their colour. To me, it is putting the best person in the right seat of the bus to ensure that they can achieve what the organisation needs them to achieve. And I really, in summary, if you said sum it up in 10 seconds, that is what, to me, an organisation that is truly diverse and truly inclusive, it makes sure that it picks the right person to sit on the right seat of the bus to achieve what the organisation needs without it specifically focusing on the age, the colour, or the sex of a person. To me, the moment that you focus on whether it's male or female, whether it's young or old, or whether it's of a different colour, that, to me, breaks the whole concept of diversity and inclusion. It means that I'm actually discriminating by choosing you based on anything other than your capability. And that is something that I've never stood for. I've been told many times that I'm one of the rare few people that have never paid somebody different because they're a male or female. I don't know what that other side looks like because I've always paid people the right money, regardless of their age, regardless of their sex, and regardless of which country they come from. To me, if they're the right person sitting on the right seat of the bus and the right fit for the organisation, they get paid the same amount of money, regardless of age, colour, or sex. However, apparently I'm one of the few, which I think I am, and I don't know what I don't know. So I can understand why there is a movement. I can understand why there are people that bring attention to this area. I truly understand that based on the fact that I don't know what I don't know. To me, it's quite a foreign thing because I've never, ever discriminated against age, colour, or sex when it comes to paying somebody or giving them opportunity. I constantly come back to, is this the right person to sit on the right seat of the bus to achieve what I need to in the organisation? And therefore, they're included, that I include people that because they've all got the equal opportunity. And many people in my organisation, especially DeBella Coffee, when I started as a one-man band in 2002 and then grew to 130 staff, a lot of my senior managers, in fact, all of my senior managers came from working within the organisation by being chosen for their skills, being included in the organisation in growing, and ensuring that they had equal opportunity to move to whatever part of the organisation and climb the corporate ladder that they wanted to climb. To me, this was the foundation of a great business. And I suppose that's the point that I make, that the foundations of great businesses go about diversity and inclusion as part of everyday life. They don't need a diversity and inclusion policy because it's part of their fabric, it's part of their values, it's part of who they are. And that's where I see that diversity and inclusion works the best in an organisation. When the founders, when the managers, when the leaders all have diversity and inclusion front and center of mind, in everyday operations, not because they adhere to or have a policy that the organisation pushes down to be diverse and inclusive. I get that in big organisations, again, I don't have experience in your massive global organisations, so I can't speak on their behalf. And I can truly understand why some organisations would need this, because the attention isn't there. And again, I don't negate that because I don't know what I don't know. But talking to a lot of startups, talking to a lot of people that have built big businesses from the ground up, talking to people in Australia who have great businesses, I can tell you that the consensus amongst the people that I've spoken to already understand the concept of diversity and inclusiveness because they go about it in everyday life. They make sure that they have the right people sitting on the right seat of the bus that suit the organisation. They don't choose somebody because of their sex, their colour or their age, and they ensure that they're inclusive to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be the best version of themselves within an organisation. And I think that's very important for people to understand. The 4 types of diversity, when we look at it, there's obviously internal, your internal people, your external people, your organisation as a whole, and then there's the worldview of where we sit. And of course, I'm covering and really talking about the internal and organisational aspects in this FlashCast to make sure that we're, that you are and treat diversity and inclusiveness as part of every day, not rely on a policy. And if you happen to be in an organisation that actually doesn't have any focus on diversity and inclusion, well, then I truly believe you need to. Right? Great way to ensure this happens is by being a strong communicator. You need to lead by example. You need to have great interpersonal skills, and you need to be aware of what's going on globally and cultural, because the fact that the problem doesn't exist in my organisation doesn't mean that it's not existing globally, and I'm aware of that. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do a FlashCast on this is to say, well, I want to share my views from somebody who this is quite a foreign, battle. So if you see it in a battle, if you found yourself in a battle for diversity and inclusiveness, I don't know, because I've never been there and I've never created that environment in my businesses. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I truly acknowledge that it exists. And I can understand why, if you're in an organisation or you've been part of an organisation where there is a battle of and lack of diversity and inclusiveness, that you need to bring it to people's attention. And the best way to do that is by being a strong communicator, by leading by example, and being aware of what's going on globally in cultural aspects, because it is an important topic. And unfortunately, whilst we're lucky, the majority are lucky in Australia and many other countries, based on culture, based on race, based on ethnic upbringings or religious or spiritual beliefs, there will be different opportunities and different restraints given to people, because there's different types of diversity and characteristics, like culture, like race, like religion, like gender, like what sex you are, generational as well. And a common one is disability, where a lot of people that have a disability, whilst it might be a mild disability or a major disability, there's often a lack of diversity and inclusiveness, and that's one area that really needs attention. So in summing up, let's understand exactly what diversity and inclusion means. Diversity is a representation of different people in an organisation when we talk about it from an organisational point of view, and inclusion is ensuring that everyone has equal opportunity to contribute. That's important, and being aware. And just because it doesn't exist in your workplace, and it certainly has never existed in my workplace that I've created, it doesn't mean that it does not exist. So respect and understanding and respecting other people's views is important, and maybe just doing a little bit more research about it. But I think the foundation starts with understanding what the concept of diversity and inclusion really means, so that it doesn't just become, a rhetoric discussion, or it becomes a tick and flick, or it becomes something that doesn't really truly get respected, but is, dumbed down by having a policy just so that you can appease somebody. Because in the perfect world, diversity and inclusiveness would just be part of everyday's go-abouts and work, ethic. So I hope I've been able to share my views on that quite clearly. Till next time, you've been listening to Phil DeBella, and this is FlashCast by PDB. I encourage everyone, as usual, to go be the best they can be.